Do you know a guy whose name is Peng Joon? If you haven't, in this video, we're going to share a little bit about him and the 4 major principles that he is applying in his life, 2 of which is business principles and 2 of which is life principles that we have learned in Manila, and we're going to reveal it to you today. Hi guys, Jan here and welcome to The Present. In this channel, we talk about business and life principles just like this video, so if you're new here, consider subscribing. Peng Joon is recognized as the authority on how to make big money through the internet. It's just amazing that his name is the same name of my brother, Peng. Anyway, let's not talk about that. The point is, when it comes to the learnings that I got from the Manila event, which is National Achievers Congress 2018, he shared 4 major things. And let's start with the principles, or the business principles, which are the first 2. Number 1 is what he calls the client lifetime value, or the customer lifetime value. You can ask the question, how much does a client worth to you? And so usually what companies do in terms of measuring that is through revenue and net worth. Revenue is like how much is the client paying you. That's the reason why your business is growing, is because of that revenue through the client. And number 2 is net worth. Net worth means the connections or the influence that the client has towards his community that you can somehow tap. That's a customer lifetime value. And the second principle is client acquisition. Getting a client is tough. And I'm sure you know this and you have probably experienced this. However, maintaining and improving the relationship with that specific client is tougher. But there is nothing to improve on if you don't have a client to serve. That's like a thing that we have to realize. If there is no someone that you can add value to, there is no improvement that needs to be made. And so client acquisition comes first, and then eventually the customer lifetime value, that's like the second thing that you have to do. And so those are the 2 principles in terms of business. The 2 principles of life, here we go. Number 1 is once a master, or a master was once a disaster. Again, a master was once a disaster. That's like the quote that he said when he showed a presentation or like a video about himself training about public speaking. There was a guy who's telling him, dude, you're making me sleep, you don't have energy, your handwriting is not good, your energy is too low, the board management is not right. And so Peng Joon was just receiving all these feedback from the coach, and you cannot really see him now, like you don't see that, but in the process. But today, if you're going to listen to him, he is way better than who he was before. That's why he said, a master was once a disaster. It's just amazing. And number 2 is once you stop believing that something is impossible, it becomes possible. He shared a story about a guy whose name is Roger Bannister. You can Google him, Roger Bannister. And then what happened was there was a scientific research that shows that no man can run 1 mile in less than 4 minutes. 1 mile in under 4 minutes. No man can do that. If someone attempts to do that, that person will die. Because the body, the bone structure cannot handle it. Your body just can't handle it. However, in 1954, if I'm not mistaken, again, you can Google him, Roger Bannister, he was able to beat that record, or that scientific research, in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. Wow. In summary, there are 4 things that we can learn from Peng Joon. Number 1 is customer lifetime value. How much does the client worth to you? And this is usually the metric of revenue and influence, or network. Number 2 is customer acquisition. Customer acquisition is like how much did it cost you to acquire the client to begin with. And then number 3 is a master was once a disaster. If you go through the process, eventually you will become successful, but you have to go through the process. Number 4 is once you stop believing that something is impossible, it becomes possible. You can search Roger Bannister in Google so that you can know more about that story.